The Civil Guard, serving the public. The Civil Guard is an armed institution of military nature under the Ministry of the Interior as regards the functions conferred by law, and the Ministry of Defence as regards the accomplishment of military missions assigned by the latter or by the government. In times of war or under state of siege, it exclusively reports to the Ministry of Defence. This institution aims at serving citizens with a modern approach as required by new times, while preserving those traditional virtues which have always distinguished their everyday work during the last century and a half. History. The Civil Guard was founded in 1844 in the reign of Queen Elizabeth II of Spain, with the support of González Bravo's moderate government and the consensus of the rest of political actors. They perceived that the Spanish liberal state needed a law enforcement agency capable of covering the entire Spanish continental territory and tackling the alarming rise in insecurity caused by banditry, which had been mercilessly wreaking havoc in roads and rural areas since the Spanish War of Independence. The person responsible for organizing this new corps was Francisco Javier Girón y Ezpeleta, 2nd Duke of Ahumada, who was General Narvaez's right-hand man and had a deep understanding of the Spanish situation. He took the gendarmerie model already established in France as a reference to create the new corps, the first to have a national jurisdiction. Queen Elizabeth II herself named the corps Guardia Civil, and the Duke provided it with its famous code of conduct, the Cartilla. The Cartilla, drafted by the Duke of Ahumada, reflected the idiosyncrasy of Guardia Civil: firm discipline, spirit of sacrifice, and meritorious character. Such features defined Guardia Civil officers as military professionals with a vocation to serve citizens, and allowed them to prove their effectiveness when carrying out the missions entrusted to them. Their humanitarian tasks, honor and rigorous fulfillment of their duties earned them the respect and admiration of Spanish people, who started calling them the Benemérita, meritorious, a denomination which became official in October 1929. In its nearly 170 years of existence, the Civil Guard has successfully adapted to social, political and economic changes in society. In fact, it is a highly appreciated institution, closely linked to the Spanish people, since they have always felt that this corps embodies most of their distinctive identity features. The Civil Guard provides a public service to the community, following the main principles of their code of conduct. All the Civil Guard members are committed to these principles when performing their daily duties. As a state security force and as established under Article 104.1 of the Spanish Constitution, the Civil Guard are entrusted with the mission of protecting the free exercise of rights and freedoms and ensuring public order. Therefore, within the constitutional framework, the Civil Guard members perform their tasks by being absolutely impartial and politically neutral, without any kind of discrimination on the grounds of race, religion or ideology. Therefore, they treat the public in a correct and tactful manner, devoting their efforts to help and protect the public based on the laws and relying on the appropriate and adequate resources. To that end, the Civil Guard employs 80,000 police officers deployed throughout the national territory, including the Spanish national waters. Also, their active participation in international missions worldwide is to be emphasized. As for their distribution, the zonas, or regional headquarters, represent the first territorial division and normally cover an autonomous region. These are in turn divided into comandancias, or provincial headquarters that comprise an entire province, or the autonomous cities of Ceuta and Melilla. The provincial headquarters are also divided into companies, and these are divided into stations. These being the smallest territorial units upon which the prevention, community policing and emergency intervention tasks rely. The station covers one or several municipalities, and according to their tasks, they are divided into main stations, ordinary stations and auxiliary stations. Thanks to this distribution, the Civil Guard is the state institution with the largest representation within the Spanish territory. Distribution of human and material resources. The Civil Guard is accountable to two ministries. To the Ministry of the Interior with regard to public order, as well as payroll, assignments and resources, and to the Ministry of Defence with regard to promotions, personnel, military status and military missions. The Civil Guard institution is incorporated into the Dirección General de la Policía y de la Guardia Civil, General Directorate for the Police and the Civil Guard, under the command of a General Director of both forces. The General Director receives the support from a Special Advisory Office, both on the National Police Affairs and the Civil Guard's affairs. Also, within the scope of the Civil Guard, the General Director relies on a coordination unit entrusted with the provision of direct assistance and support aimed at enabling the management and coordination of the bodies and units under the General Director's command. The Dirección Adjunta Operativa, or Operations Division, is in charge of managing and coordinating the operational services of the Civil Guard's units, following the guidelines established by the General Director. Likewise, the Personnel Division is in charge of implementing the human resources and training policies of the Civil Guard, and the Support Division is in charge of the financial and material resources. The men and women of this institution have performed nearly 4 million services per year, more than 10,000 per day, which represent 32 million hours of work, and a large percentage of that has been devoted to humanitarian actions. Public order. The Public Order Service is the backbone of the Civil Guard. Their mobility and distribution allow them to be present throughout all Spanish territory. This is the quintessential service provided by the Civil Guard, distinguished by close contact with the general public and deep knowledge of the area they work in. In addition to preventing crime, the Public Order Service includes citizen assistance and protection, to which all members of the force subscribe. The tasks include surveillance and protection of rural towns and the communication routes that are not already covered by the traffic group, protection of buildings and facilities, escort of explosives and maintenance of public order. The Air Service. The Civil Guard has increased their services to the public with a helicopters unit that supports and reinforces in many ways the operational capacity of other units. Also, this service provides advice in the field of aeronautical administrative policing and collaborates with the courts. The fixed wing section includes 2 CASA CN-235 airplanes, mainly involved in immigration controls. The Road Traffic Policing Group. The Road Traffic Policing Group is tasked with traffic safety and traffic control on our roads. The group patrols these roads and enforces the traffic law. Traffic policing officers help and protect drivers in need, and also start proceedings and prepare corresponding reports in case of accidents. Nature Protection Service. The Nature Protection Service, SEPRONA, is responsible for those tasks regarding protection of the environment and other nature-related issues. SEPRONA collaborates with the regional environmental authorities and provides them with essential support in carrying out their administrative tasks. Standby and anti-riot groups. The standby and anti-riot groups are units specialised in maintaining and restoring public order. They are also entrusted with VIP protection and security. In addition, these groups support other units and collaborate with civil protection and emergency services in cases of serious danger and disasters. Underground Unit. This unit is in charge of the security of the underground services of buildings and public facilities protected by the Civil Guard. They also prepare security reports, carry out preventive inspections and support any related security action taken. The Mounted Squad. Although horses have been used by the Civil Guard from its earliest days, the Mounted Squad was only created in 1958. This is a specialized mounted unit entrusted with the same tasks as the standby and security group, but adjusted to their characteristics and working methods. The squad also takes part in ceremonial events as part of its long, honourable and distinguished history within the force. Mountain Rescue. They act in areas requiring special technical and physical skills, together with the use of appropriate equipment. They assist persons who are injured, lost or cut off in mountain areas or areas with difficult access. They ensure the protection of nature and the environment, and during mountain competitions or other alpine sports, they provide surveillance, crime prevention and maintain public order. Training Department. The Civil Guard hosts several specialized training centres. These centres provide training to new staff joining the force and to those wishing to be promoted within the force, plus specialised training on procedures and techniques that are characteristics of the force's special services. In addition, there is a training system for higher ranking levels covering command, leadership and management activities, as well as general staff. Weapons and Explosives Control Unit. The Civil Guard is exclusively entrusted with all the tasks related to weapons and explosives. The Weapons and Explosives Control Units deployed throughout the entire Spanish territory are in charge of controlling the manufacture, circulation and possession of weapons and explosives. Special Intervention Unit. The Special Intervention Unit has been designed for specific high-risk and dangerous missions. They act within the Spanish national territory and abroad in counter-terrorism operations, in the cases of kidnappings and especially dangerous or unbalanced individuals, and in protecting VIPs when there is an imminent threat. Maritime Service. The Maritime Service patrols the Spanish coast, preventing illegal activities such as smuggling and illegal immigration. Protecting natural resources and the submerged heritage, as well as enforcing fishing and safe sea traffic regulations. To that end, the service has newly equipped vessels that patrol national waters and deep-sea vessels used for more ambitious missions in the high sea. Fiscal Service. The Civil Guard is entrusted with the protection of state economic interests at Spanish coasts, seaports, airports and customs subplaces. They prevent and stop drug trafficking and tax fraud in collaboration with the Spanish Ministry of Economy. The relevance of the Spanish and EU borders, together with the increase of drug trafficking and illegal immigration, have led the Civil Guard to maintain a continuous relationship with other national and international organizations. Criminal Investigation Police. This service provides direct support to the courts and is composed of police officers specialized in gathering and obtaining evidence, as well as investigating and starting proceedings. The Criminal Investigation Police comprises specialized teams fighting organized crime, software piracy, art theft, and domestic violence. Suitably qualified officers work in forensic laboratories analyzing different types of forensic evidence using high technology and drafting expert reports. Underwater Group. This is a unit created to work in different types of waters. Their tasks include the search and rescue of persons and objects, reconnaissance, security and protection of VIPs and vessels, and protection of natural resources and submerged heritage. These groups support other units within the force. Intelligence Service. This service manages the gathering of information from terrorist and paramilitary organizations, organized crime groups, and other criminal gangs. This information is processed and analyzed by specialized officers and is subsequently used in operations. They also actively collaborate with other intelligence and information services abroad. Rural Action Unit. The so-called Rural Action Unit was created in 1982 under the name of Rural Counter-Terrorism Group. This is an operational group specifically designed and organized to fight terrorism. They are specialized in high-risk and rapid intervention missions. Bomb disposal and CBRN defense. The Bomb Disposal and Chemical, Biological, Radiological and Nuclear Defense Service is composed of bomb disposal teams entrusted with the mission of detecting, disposing and analyzing any type of explosive device. These teams are allocated throughout Spain for enhanced efficiency and rapid action. The CBRN Defense Unit has been recently created as the Civil Guard's response to the increasing chemical, biological, radiological and nuclear threat. Dog Handling Service.
Attack.
The relationship between the Civil Guard and man's best friend goes back to 1948, when dogs were attached to some stations and detachments for chasing criminals and for coastal and border control. The Dog Handling Service supports other operational units in detecting drugs, explosives or money, searching for missing people during major incidents, and disaster recovery and any other activity that might involve their dog's unique skills. In 1951, the Dog Handling Center was created in El Pardo, Madrid, becoming the first dog handling center in Spain. international missions. The Civil Guard has an active role in various international missions that are organised by international organisations to keep peace and protect human rights. They provide assessment on the creation and modernisation of police forces and verify the protection of human rights, both in civilian and police military missions. They also collaborate with other countries in the enforcement of mandates of international organisations. And in addition perform security tasks at various embassies.